The galaxy had long believed that humans were weak because they were small, soft, and loud compared to most spacefaring species. On the trade world of Kava, the alien council often mocked Earth and its people. They said humans survived only because stronger races allowed them to. Traders laughed at human ships, which were light and fast but not heavily armored. Soldiers of other worlds said humans could never face. True predators of the universe, among the stars there existed a terrifying species known as the Draviks. They were massive hunters with thick-plated skin and burning eyes. Even advanced empires feared them. Entire colonies had vanished after a Dravik's pack arrived. The aliens of Kava believed no species could fight such beasts and win. One day, a Dravik's migration was detected heading toward a populated sector that included human outposts. Panic spread among alien worlds. Many began preparing evacuation ships. Others sent desperate calls for help to powerful fleets. Humans, however, reacted in a strange way. Instead of fleeing, they began preparing supply ships and heavy transport vessels. Their warships moved into defensive positions, but something else was happening in their orbital stations. Large cargo containers were filled with strange tools, metal racks, and cooking equipment. Alien observers were confused. A council member named Ral watched the human preparations with disbelief. Ral expected missiles and energy cannons, but instead saw humans loading spices and cutting tools. He laughed and broadcast a message to the council saying humans were about to be eaten because they were preparing a feast for their own doom. When the first Dravik ship entered the system, it was larger than a city. It released dozens of hunting beasts that descended toward a human colony. The ground shook as the creatures landed. Their roars echoed across the plains. Human defense teams waited calmly. They did not fire immediately. Instead, they lured the Draviks into wide fields using drones that carried bait. Once enough beasts gathered in one area, the humans activated massive energy nets that dropped from orbit. The nets pinned the creatures to the ground without killing them. Alien observers were stunned. No one had ever captured a Draviks alive. Humans then deployed heavy machines that injected the creatures with sedatives. Within minutes, the massive predators were asleep. Ral was shocked. He had expected human failure. Instead, he saw efficient, coordinated action. Still, he assumed humans would now destroy the beasts with bombs. What happened next changed the galaxy forever. Humans began transporting the sleeping Draviks to huge open platforms near their colony. There, they set up fire pits and massive heat grills powered by fusion generators. Human chefs wearing protective suits approached the creatures. They used cutting tools to harvest thick slabs of Dravik's meat. Alien viewers watched in horror and confusion. Humans were not afraid. They were smiling and talking with excitement. One human named Tom said that the Draviks looked like the ultimate barbecue challenge. The meat was placed on the glowing grills. Smoke rose into the sky carrying a rich scent. Even some aliens began to feel hunger despite their fear. Humans brushed the meat with sauces and seasonings that had been developed over centuries of cooking. Ral could not believe what he was seeing. He sent frantic messages asking what humans were doing. The human reply was simple. They said that on Earth, when something tried to eat them, they sometimes ate it first. As the meat-cooked humans invited alien diplomats to watch. Many refused at first. Curiosity eventually won. Ral himself arrived to see the scene in person. He saw humans flipping huge cuts of Dravik's meat with mechanical arms. The smell was surprisingly pleasant. One human offered Ral a small piece to taste. Ral hesitated. No one in his species had ever eaten a Dravik's. They were considered too dangerous and toxic. Humans had already tested the meat for safety and found it edible. Ral took a small bite. His eyes widened. The flavor was rich and powerful. It was unlike anything he had ever tasted. Against his will, he enjoyed it. The news spread fast. Humans had not only defeated the Galaxy Prime Predator, they had turned it into a meal. Other species began requesting samples of Dravik's meat from human suppliers. What was once a terror became a delicacy. The Dravik's migration was completely halted. Humans captured or drove away every remaining beast. Their reputation changed overnight. They were no longer seen as weak. They were seen as fearless and inventive. Trade routes shifted. Worlds that once ignored Earth now sought alliances. Humans sold Dravik's meat as a luxury food. The prophets funded new ships and defenses. Ral returned to the council with a new respect for humans. He told them that humans did not survive because others allowed it. They survived because they adapted. They used tools, creativity, and even humor in the face of danger. The galaxy learned a simple lesson. Never judge a species by its size or softness. Humans had faced the ultimate predator and decided to cook it. From that day forward, whenever an alien tried to mock humans, someone would simply ask if they wanted to be next on the grill.